Heavy police presence at Lebombo border post welcomed.
Levels of activity at the Lebombo border post continue to increase this morning. There's a queue for trucks that are waiting to be cleared, which stretches for kilometers. Newsroom Africa's Ngobile Madlala is there and joins us now. Ngobile, good morning. Let's start with that visit between South African and Mozambican officials. Among others, DIRCO Minister Ronald Lamola announcing that they had now agreed to keep the lines of communication open. They are jointly identifying some alternative routes if needs be. They will be deploying additional resources to expedite and facilitate trade. Do we know more about how those talks are likely to ease the situation at that border post?
Well, Iman, from what we know is that, first of all, you'll remember that when the border was closing and opening, this was never in sync. This is mainly because it was a surprise for those that were in Mozambique. And so there was always a fight. And so we saw some of the people running this side, officials running this side to seek refuge. Now, what has changed with regards to how Lamola is saying that things are going to be done is that this is going to be a conversation between the two countries. So if they say they're closing at 2 o'clock, they both close at 2 o'clock and they find a way to ensure that there is safety. Second thing is, from the Mozambican counterparts, we have heard that they are also deploying enforcement. They're adding more resources on the ground. They have enforcement. They also have their soldiers on the ground to ensure that there's safety for the trucks. Now, all of these things that they are putting in place are also helping their South African counterparts because they're easing a bit of pressure this side where there are concerns, obviously, over the safety of the truckers. You remember when there was an incident, some of them even came this side having been looted, their trucks having been burnt. So such things are also being curbed. But whilst we break that down, I want to bring in now my guests to speak to us of obviously the issues that are a great concern. And we know that BMA is also going to be having a briefing. But what we need more than anything is to understand how this is going to work on the ground. As someone who deals with the truckers, who deals with the taxis that have to cross border, take us through probably the concerns after what they're saying is going to be implemented.
Look, thanks, Mobile. I think from the side of the truckers, I think as Minister Chris said yesterday, the main thing has always been security and to ensure that they get to that destination safely and they get to that destination sound. I think the same with passenger movements as well. And that has really been the major issue for most of the people that operate on this corridor. So as we talk to them, as we license them to go through, and as we talk to them on an ongoing basis, that is the major issue. So we are happy that the two governments are now saying that it is going to be a priority. The safety of their safety is going to be a priority. So we're looking forward to that. And I think in our conversations with some of them now, they are quite happy about that there is some guarantee of security through the passage into Mozambique. So, and that has been one of the major issues from their side. So we're quite happy about that. And they are also quite happy about that.
And it's interesting, of course, because at the same time as BMA is going to have a briefing, you also have the transport department that's going to be having a briefing. And the concern around there is also the safety this side of South Africa, where you have crime that is happening within also the borders in South Africa. Take us through what sort of solutions must be implemented in these borders.
So there has been visible policing, a lot of visible policing, and I think we commend the South African Police Services for that, and I think supported by some of the entities like ourselves, our own law enforcement unit and other entities. For instance, in the context of Mpumalanga, your Mpumalanga provincial government has also deployed a lot of traffic officers on the road. So I don't think that we have had an increase or reported cases of crime, and I think it has subsided to a large extent, but it is something that we must keep our eyes on. And you're right that it is one of the areas of concern, especially for truckers that are stuck here. The good thing is that the traffic is now moving across, so there are no people that are stuck here for endless hours, and it is making it easier to make sure, it's making it easier for people to transit through the channel into Maputo, which reduces the amount of time that they are waiting on the corridor. So it makes it easier from a policing point of view. And as you go down the corridor here, to kilometer 7, you can see there's a lot of police that are deployed out there, which makes it easier for people to see that there is now visible policing and people are being taken care of.
Thank you very much. That is Lebombo. He is the CEO of Cross Border, and I want to show you what he's talking about, Iman. That movement of trucks is currently taking place here right in front of us, and you can see the long lines that have already piled up. But that's good because the freight industry had in the past had an issue with regards to coming to this border, and as a result, redirecting to Beitbridge and other borders. And so they have, in fact, come back to the same border where they are able to get to Maputo Port much quicker. And you will know that Maputo Port is a strategic port for South Africa, mainly because a lot of chrome and coal goes through there. And as Ronald Lamula was saying, the minister saying that this port is very important for energy and, of course, transporting those resources from South Africa into the Asian countries.
I guess the best part of the picture that
watching.
you're showing us, that Ngobile, is that the wheels are turning because